If you clicked this video, you were probably born sometime between 1965 and 1980. Some people say you were the last great generation, the last generation raised without a digital footprint, no smartphones, no public record of your mistakes. You let yourself into the house, figured things out, and didn't call it trauma. From the outside, it looks like independence, but psychologically, it was an adaptation. Gen X learned to figure things out before anyone taught them how to talk about feelings, and that rewired how you trust, connect, and survive stress today. You grew up with a key around your neck. You learned to heat up your own dinner at 8 years old. You figured out how to program the VCR while your parents were still at work. Independence wasn't a choice. It was survival. And now, decades later, people call you distant, emotionally unavailable, too self-reliant. But here's what they don't understand. What looks like emotional walls is actually emotional wisdom. Your brain learned something profound during those formative years. It discovered that depending on yourself wasn't just safer, it was necessary. While other generations had constant validation and structured activities, you had silence, empty houses, the hum of the refrigerator as your only companion. This wasn't neglect, though it might have felt like it. Your parents weren't trying to create emotionally independent humans. They were just trying to survive the economic pressures of the 70s and 80s. But your developing nervous system interpreted their absence as a lesson. The world is unpredictable. Adults are busy, and you'd better figure things out yourself. So you did. You became the master of your own emotional universe. You learned to process feelings internally. You discovered that asking for help often led to disappointment, so you stopped asking. This created something fascinating in your brain. Neuroscientists call it learned self-soothing. While other generations developed validation-seeking patterns, you developed regulation systems. You became your own emotional parent. The irony? This makes you incredibly stable in a crisis. When the world falls apart, you don't panic. You assess. You adapt. You survive, because you've been doing it your entire life. But it also means intimacy feels foreign. Not because you're broken, but because your brain is optimized for independence, not interdependence. Your neural pathways literally formed around self-reliance. When someone asks how you're feeling, your brain searches for the answer the same way it searches for a misplaced key. It's in there somewhere, but you're out of practice finding it quickly. People mistake this for coldness. They don't realize you're not withholding emotions. You're translating them. Your feelings exist in a language other generations never had to learn. The language of silence, of making do, of figuring it out alone. This isn't emotional damage. This is emotional adaptation. You developed exactly the psychological tools you needed to survive your environment. Your independence isn't a flaw in your programming. It's a feature. You're not broken. You're not too distant. You're not missing some crucial emotional component. You're the generation that learned to be your own safe space in a world that forgot to create them for you. And honestly, that's not something that needs fixing. That's something worth understanding.